Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today I am in the Aerobask Epic E1000. Now, this is an aircraft that I don't normally fly, and it's been in my hangar for quite a while. Um, Occasionally, I'll pull it out and fly it, but I'm not really a big fan of any of my aircraft with the Garmin 1000. So I'm hoping to change that. Anyway, I got a mission, and my mission is to fly uh, some folks, a family, and you see them in the back of the aircraft from Charlotte to Raleigh, Durham. Now, if any of you have watched any of my videos, you know that I tend to spend a lot of time on the ground before I get wheels up. So if you want to just see me get wheels up and wheels down, then look at the description below by clicking the show more button, and you should see some indexes that'll take you right to the takeoff or pre-taxi. Okay, with that said, let's get in the aircraft. But first, we got a couple of housekeeping things that we need to do. Well, before we do that, since I'm new to this aircraft, let me just talk a little bit about the things that I've learned about the Epic E1000. The Epic E1000 is a new certificated aircraft. I think that there have only been two produced it's a U.S. based aircraft company, and I think they've only produced two of them for production use as of 2021. This is February 2021. Or it's possible that a third one has rolled off the production line, but I have not heard. So um, the the aircraft uses a Pratt and Whitney um, PT6, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure whether it's a single stage or two stage Pratt and Whitney. I believe it may be a two stage one, sort of like the Pilatus and the TBM. The it has 1,200, is it 100, 1,000, 1,200 horsepower, or maybe 12,000 horsepower. Gee whiz, I don't know why that number evades me, but anyway, I will put the correct one in the notes. Well, I'll flash it on the screen right now. Um, Whereas the TBM uses 850. That's what it is. It's 850, not eight. So it's 1,200. 1,200 shaft horsepower, whereas the TBM uses 1,200 shaft horsepower, and the Pilatus PC6 uses 1,200. I think it's 1,250 shaft horsepower. And the Pilatus PC6, although it flies slower, it's heavier. This aircraft has a carbon fuselage, so um, you don't see a lot of rivets. You don't see hardly any rivets in the fuselage. It's just a smooth single cast piece of um, carbon composite material. And as we know, carbon is light and it's as strong as steel. So this this aircraft is built for speed. It has, from what I understand, ups usurted. I hope I didn't butcher that word. The TBM was once known as the fattest turboprop aircraft available for commercial use or for non-military use. And now I think the Epic has claimed that throne. Um, of course, something else will come along, and I'm hoping that that Cessna is still developing the Denali, which should be working on becoming certificated if it's not already. Um, it would be the only turboprop that doesn't use a Pratt and Whitney engine. But well, when I say the only turboprop, I mean the only single pilot rated turboprop that doesn't use a turbo. Let me get it out. The only single pilot rated turboprop that doesn't use a. Oh man, that thought is right on the tip of my. Anyway, that doesn't use that doesn't use the Pratt and Whitney. That's what I'm trying to say. So they are going with a different engine manufacturer, and I think it's going to be a GE engine. But I digress, as I do in all of my videos. Okay, so the kids and the couple is back there, and so I've asked. Actually, I could use a co-pilot or someone in the co-pilot seat. So let's go ahead and get rid of these static elements here. And I should mention that I don't see a quick way to bring up the menu for for the Aerobask. So as far as I know, the only way to get here is to get it from the plug-in menu. Um, okay, so let's get rid of these static elements and make them so that we can see them. All right. And I got enough power not to need okay, so now the pilot and the co-pilot, the person that's riding the left seat is with me. Um, of course, the pilot doesn't look like me, but that's another story. Um, Kudos to Microsoft Flight Sim for being able to give simmers a choice of people. But anyway, I digress again. Let's see. So let's go ahead and close the door here. And I'm not going to go through the options, but there are some options that if you have this aircraft or if you plan to get it, you can go through. But this is about the only thing that you can get do in the menu. Of course, I do have custom load manager on, um, and that's because I like to be able to control my own passengers and adjust the weight, the fuel tanks the way I see fit, without having to pull them up in X-plane, which is basically the same thing, slide them up. All right, so I guess 82.4 and 82.2 gallons is sufficient. All right, so we're done with this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and get in our cockpit, and it's all glass cockpit, the G1000. And the only reason, from what I understand, the word Garmin is not on here anyway is because I think Aerobask took a couple of liberties, um, and I'm not sure what they are, but they renamed it from the Garmin G1000 to the X1000. So let's get started here. Now I'm not going to go through the checklist. Um, if there is a checklist available for this aircraft, and if I go through it, then it will literally take me probably 30 to 45 minutes before I start taxiing. But suffice it to say that I've got a flow that I like to use to get it started. All right, so with all aircraft, the first thing I always like to do is make sure I got my fuel turned on and I'm on my right tank. I'm just going to switch that to my left tank, and um, and for my startup sequence, and I commend not Aerobask, but Epic for doing this. Is basically I'm just going to go left to right. Okay, so my brake is set. This is my brake. All right, so I'm going to go battery one. Do a little quick check here. Make sure that I got all my controls pulled to the back and that they are um, in the right position. Okay. All right. Battery two. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this stuff. Avionics master, left fuel pump, and actually I am gonna pull out a little bit so we can see these instruments gauges. Right fuel pump. Okay. Only thing changed was the amperage. And I am going to go ahead and turn on the starter generator. Now, I'm not sure whether I should turn that on before I was part of pre-start. Okay, so I got everything turned on at the top. Now, whether or not this is correct, I haven't been through the checklist enough to know for sure. But at this point, I want to clear prop and make sure nobody's out there. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to turn my NIDA on, hit the starter, and my NGs are coming up. Okay, I'm at 11. Now I'm gonna introduce fuel, and my ITT is lighting off. My prop is turning. It's hot, but it should come right down. And she's cooling now. I'm at 55 NG, and ITT is in the green. Torque is in the green. I got a good start. All right, so I can turn off my NIDA, and now I can set the fuel button to auto select. So this will go from left to right automatically, and I don't have to think about it. It does have a pusher on it, and I'm gonna turn that on when I get too close to stall, and I have done that several times. The yoke will start to violently vibrate. Okay. Um, all right. So I'm still going left to right. Autopilot is on. Trims are on. The autopilot trims are on, and my door is shut. So let's get the seal. Let's let's get the the um, the door seal set, and that did make a sound normally, but I didn't hear it. In fact, let me go over here and adjust my volumes. Um, my master is way down. I like to keep my exterior noise kind of low. So I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to turn the master up a little bit, and hopefully you can hear that now. Okay. But I don't want the engine sounds to drown me out. All right. So let me take this back off, and I'm still going left to right. Okay. I did start with my beacon on, so um, I didn't check it, but I'm using the alpha yoke, and at least on the yoke, the beacon is on. So uh, I should have checked it before I did the start because it is illuminated. And unfortunately, the beacon was off, but it was on. When I looked at the button, it was on. Anyway, my bad. Okay, like lights. Okay, so we'll turn the taxi light on just before we get ready to taxi. And icing, I don't really need any icing. I am going to go ahead and turn my inertial separator on and my pitot heat. Okay, so my CAS, my crew alert systems messages show that the only thing that it's alerting me to is that the parking brakes are on. There's another word for that, the annunciator, I guess. Um, and I don't know whether this should be referred to as CAS or an annunciator. If you know, please leave it in the comments below. A good pilot is always learning. All right, even a good sim pilot. And some days I'm not a good sim pilot at all, but who else? All right, so still going left to right. And let's get over here to the right some. And let's go ahead and turn, let's say outside air temperature is -4 Celsius. That's about, no, that's not right. That's ISA. It's 9 Celsius. So that's 32 plus, see, I think for each degree, that's 2, right? So, and I'm just doing a quick calculation to turn it into Fahrenheit. So 32 plus 18 is 50. So that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I got 18 by taking 9, multiplying it times 2. Okay. So let's, at 50, that's pretty chilly to the human body. Humans are um, tropical animals, whether or not you want to believe that. I know some of us don't believe that. I do see some of us get out with no jackets on in this kind of weather and try to look and act as if we're completely comfortable. Yeah, right. All right, but I digress. Okay, let's get the ATIS. We're in Charlotte, so the ATIS is 121.15. All right, so let's move this down. And one thing about the Aerobask is I can change stuff without having to use the knob, um, and I can change the altimeter without having to use the knob. But even though that's a convenience, I need to use the knob so that when I switch to other aircraft and I've got a consistent way of changing stuff that's going to work on all the aircraft. So let's go over here and change it. It was 121.15. I got 123. So let's just bring that down and pop that in. That's on COM 2 and RDU. Our destination, since I already know it, is 123.8, I believe. So I'm gonna leave that there. And Charlotte ground. Let's listen to our ATIS. Okay, so let's do that now.
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Mike.
Mike,
2100 Zulu weather.
I need a pen.
Wind 180 at 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 22,000 few. Temperature 9. Dew point -6. Altimeter 3044.
3044.
Arriving runways 18 left, 18 right, 18 center. Departing runways 18 left, 18 center. Advise on initial contact. You have Mike.
Mike. Need to hear it one more time to get my wins. I know we're using 1.8.
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Mike. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind 180 at 8, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 22,000 few, temperature 9,
Okay,
dew
no
point
no
minus
clouds
6.
below 22,000.
Altimeter 3044. Arriving runways 18
All right,
left,
so I'm done with
18
that.
right.
It's a beautiful day to fly, guys. Beautiful day to fly. Let's see if I can get back in the pilot seat here. I slid that over, and actually I got some hotkeys. I don't know them by heart, so because I don't know them by heart, then I may not use them. I do have this X camera set up, I mean, installed, and I need to get a little better at using it. Okay, I'm full of digressions today. Go figure. All right, so we got our ATIS, and let's see, altimeter is 3044. So let's dial that in. Altimeter is down here. No, that's altitude. Altimeter, barometer. That's why I need to use these buttons. 3044. Yeah, okay, I see it now. Let me zoom in a little bit for your benefit, because I know when I'm watching other people's videos, sometimes it's hard to see what they're doing when they are zoomed out. And when I look back on some of mine, it's hard to see what I'm doing on playback. Okay, so 3044, and I know we want 18. Um, and let's zoom into this runway a little bit. All right, that guy's taking off range. Okay, so 18 is up here. So that means that we're going to take this, we're going to go out and take this guy. We will hold short here. Um, we'll hold short here and then cross and um, take the runway here and take off to the south. All right. And let's do a little quick flight plan. We want Liberty. We're at Charlotte. That's good. And and I am trying to highlight Charlotte. Well, let's just swing this. Nope, didn't work. All right. So, all right. So how do I get it to highlight Charlotte? I tell you, I am not a G1000 person. Um, so okay, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. All right, so flight plan and um, enter. Let's try enter. Let's try hitting that guy. All right, the small cursor. That didn't do it. Hmm. All right. So this is the problem that I have sometimes. Okay, menu. Nope, that's not going to do any good. There we go. Hit the FMS button. All right, and now I can move down. Okay, so You have to use these things to get the hang of it. Want Liberty after want Liberty next. L. Why did my see. All right. So Charlotte is 740. Well, not since it won't let me put input in here, then I'll just go to the next field. Oh, there we go. I can dial it up. I'm gonna dial it. I don't know how to get the tens in there, even if you can get the tens. So I'm just leave it at 700. Um, okay, then we got Liberty. What am I doing wrong? L. I've seen people type it in here, but as you can see, apparently I don't know how to type it in. I live and learn. A good pilot is always learning, and I got some learning to do. Um, B. All right. Enter. Southeast United States. Enter again. It's accepted. And then our destination is going to be Kilo, Romeo, Delta, Uniform. Now, one thing I always say with these, with the G1000 is this G1000 is really small, and at least in real life, my I think my real estate for the G1000 would be, let's say I'm on a 27-inch monitor, um, and so I probably would have about this much real estate if you follow the cursor. Now, let's see if I can't. Um, in real life, I probably would have about this much real estate um, for my display. So I would be able to see stuff at a glance. But getting out and scrolling back, the it gets so much smaller, and being unfamiliar with it, it's just well, you get it. I'm sure you get it. Okay, and like anything else, it just take using it and using the devil out of it to become familiar with it. All right, so looks like it's going to be dark when I do wheels down uh, at RDU. Okay, and I am doing real weather and real time, um, just in case that tidbit of information is of any interest to you. Okay, so let's clear that. And let's do a standard departure. Um, that's my cursor. Get to the place where I can scroll. Okay. Um, so let's go to procedure. Wrong button. Um, let's use this button. Departure. Enter. Um, I don't know one from the other, and don't really know how to read charts. So um, and I don't know which departure would be best to depart to the northeast. Well, from south. So I'm just gonna pick one. I'm just gonna pick Charlotte 2, um, and hope for the best. Okay, so uh, enter, and we are departing runway 18 left. Let me zoom in a little bit. In fact, let me go to options and turn on pop outs. Okay. Um, enable playing keyboard experimental. Enable mouse pad stay. Disable. Okay, disable G1000 pop outs. Well, it's not disabled, so, but it's not popping out either. Let me try. Huh. Enable touchscreen features. Always show tasks. Enable rain. Keep instrument pop outs inside screen. Okay, so I want to um, keep instrument pop outs inside screen. Uh, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know why it's not popping out, but it's not. And again, that may be something that I'm doing. So I need help, guys. If you see something that'll help me, stick it in the comments. Okay, so 18 left. Uh, that range button looked like it ought to be corresponding with this. Okay, so let's try to train myself to reach down here. Enter. And shoot, Gantz. I think I've seen that before, and I think that tape. Gantz takes me northeast. So this one, enter, and we'll go ahead and load it. Load, enter. All right. So 18. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking. I told you I was going to taxi from here and turn here, but 18 means that I'll be departing south. I'll be departing towards 180. So, yeah, so I'm going to taxi up here and come down here. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Okay, so okay. And what was the winds? Winds was 180. So winds are out of the south for RDU. That's gonna, if the winds prevail throughout the whole flight, which is only 100 nautical miles away, that's gonna favor runway 23. So let's plan an arrival. Um, and a, let's see, do we want to do an arrival? Let's do it. Let's just do an approach. Um, we'll just plan to approach. In fact, we'll set that up in the air. Otherwise, we will be sitting on the ground for another hour just trying to get stuff in. What did I just do? I just put a Barney departure in. Procedure. Select departure. Charlotte 2. Okay, so that's done. And so that's already done. Ah, doggone it. Let's see what I'm doing. What I'm doing here. Um, I tell you, if I were a private pilot going for my instrument, based on what I'm doing here in the sim, it would take me a month of Sundays. All right, so we got that, and I think that's what we wanted. Charlotte 2 and 18 left. Hate to have to go through this again. 18 left, enter, against, enter, and load it, enter. All right, so yeah, anyway, so let's clear that away, and let's call, um, so I'm gonna not call clearance delivery and go straight to tower, I mean, ground. And where can I get ground? I guess I would have to load up sky vector. So so the plan is K Charlotte to KRDU, KRDU via Liberty. All right. That's 105 nautical miles. We can expect to cruise at about 200 knots and probably what 7,500 um, is about what we'd be looking at. Well, could have east is odd, so we're doing um, not VFR but IFR. So so we'll do 7,000, and I could get charts and all that here, but I should do it when I'm not recording, so that when I do record, going through the charts, then I'm not sitting there looking dumbfounded and not knowing exactly what I'm doing. So anyway, so I'm kind of just winging it here. No pun intended. All right. So 200 knots. So that should give us flight time roughly about half an hour. And let's the frequencies is what I wanted to get. No better place than to get it from the airport directory. I mean the airport diagram. And the runway that we're using is 18 left, so that's 118.1 for tower, 121.8 for ground. Um, um, no, 121.9 for ground, because we are on the east and we're departing to the east, so that's pretty consistent. Um, and and I won't worry about center. Maybe I should do. I used to do a lot of pilot edge flights, but for some reason I just stopped using pilot edge, um, and I loved it. But maybe I should do some VATSIM flights. Um, it's it can be challenging to record, talk to you guys, and talk to ATC all at the same time. At least for me. Some of those guys out there are aces at it. No pun intended. Okay, so we are back in the cockpit, and we got our frequencies. Let's get them dialed in. So all we got is ground and tower. Ground is, let's see if we can't just switch this and then dial it up to 9. And switch that in and then put tower, which is point 0.1. Okay, so we've already got our clearance delivery. We've already got a squawk code, which let's use 7604. All right, so code was 7604. It's my squawk. And let's do altitude reporting. And that's our radio. And now we can call ground. All right. And to make sure that I don't have anything else here that I need to set. Okay. Let me set my winds up. I do like to have that up. Wind. And that's going to populate right here. And I like option 3. So right now I'm on the ground, so I'm not seeing anything. Okay. And back again. Okay. So I'm ready. Are you ready? All right. So let's do this. And one more thing before I taxi. I do want to set my altitude, and let's say that Charlotte's going to give us runway heading. Then that switches off to departure, and departure will give us a heading if so, and vectors, and then tell us to navigate. They would probably vector us toward our intercept for our departure. But anyway, I'm not going through all of that, but I do want to change this altitude to initially 2000, and um, I don't. Let's see. I wonder if I can set this on the ground. The climb rate. Climb out at 12. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Charlotte ground Epic November 335 Alpha Kilo is at GA ready to taxi. Taxi to runway 18, hold short runway 23 via Delta Epic 5 Alpha Kilo. All right. I hope I got that right. All right, so let's unfeather here. And so I just turn that up, and let's clear right, uh, clear right and clear left, or just clear left. So I guess we're good. And sun is going down. Let's put on our taxi lights, and let's go ahead and turn our nav lights on. Sorry, I'm not showing you the buttons as I hit them, but That was taxi and now. And this is Delta, I believe. Ah, see, I am not on the taxiway. My bad. Not bad. Okay, so I need to turn and get on the yellow brick road. I came down this yellow brick road over here thinking that it was this one from memory. Of course, in real life, I would have a lot more visibility. So I say that to say that gives me a break. Okay, so I'm in the movement area now, the non-movement area, what that was referred to. And I almost have to close my eyes as I swing around. I'm only getting about 20 frames, which for me, that's not too bad at Charlotte. Sometimes, for some reason, I can get as little as 13 and 14. Okay, so I got a 13 knot taxi here. Pull out my cell phone and turn up my household heat. Okay, this is where I'm holding short. I don't see anything coming. Charlotte ground, Epic 5 Alpha Kilo is holding short runway 23, cross runway 23, Epic Alpha Kilo, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can hear the engines okay. And so I am going up to the very top. All right. And I guess, I mean, looking right here, because earlier I said I was going to turn right here and pick up. I couldn't, anyway. So it just looked weird for a second there when I was looking at it on the other. Okay, so I can switch to tower and make a call. Charlotte Tower, Epic 335 Alpha Kilo is holding at runway 18 left, ready to depart. Clear for takeoff, runway holding for incoming traffic, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so that's why I had to look for this traffic. It's can be challenging being the controller and the tower. Line up and wait, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. All right, so they told me I can line up and wait. Landing lights can come on, strobe lights can come on, taxi go off, condition go to 4, and we'll line up and wait. Clear, make sure that nothing's coming in. They're a little bit busy, so it won't be much delay. Clear for takeoff, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so they just cleared me for takeoff. So set my torque to takeoff power. And 78, yeah, it's a good takeoff power, 79.8 rather. Okay, rotate. Hold that center line, gear up, tap the brake. I didn't put in flaps, and there's no need to do so now. Okay, and align my head and book. Yaw damper comes on. Autopilot can come alive. And we're climbing out at 1200. And at this point, tower will probably hand me out to departure. Uh, and and of course I would have a departure frequency, but at this point I'm just gonna go straight to the flight plan, and then we want to go ahead and tell it to fly straight to Gantz. Actually, before I do that, I want to help it out. I've tried this before, and if I don't start this turn to the left or to the east, it won't start for me. And now let's actually I should train myself to use the head bug for this kind of stuff. Let's see, what's that bug heading? And head. All right. And direct to Gantz. Enter. And nav. All right. So that starts me on my, hopefully. Oh, how about that? I can spin in and out here. Now that's gonna be okay. And then I can, Let's say they gave me 5,000. Nose up. Vertical speed nose up. And let's get to that 1,000 at 2,000 feet a minute. And I think that must be Charlotte. I had some ortho for Charlotte, but it was on a different drive, and that drive failed. Um, or, or it started giving me trouble. So I lost my ortho for the southeastern United States. Okay, so I'm on the magenta line. That's a good sign. And range. Let's see. 3 nautical miles, 7 nautical miles, 12.5 nautical miles. Look ahead. So so that would be about 6 nautical miles, I think. All right. So I've reached 1,000 to go to 5,000. My final is 2,000. I mean 7,000. Got 2,000 to go to reach the cruise altitude. Okay. So this is us, guys. Look like I can turn those landing lights off, which I just did. Now there was a time well, when I was a stickler for chat lists, and somewhere when it come time to descend and land, for some reason I would always abandon my chat list. um, I tell you, to if I were a pilot, a private pilot working on my instruments, it would be a super challenge for me. Um, but I think the way they teach that stuff is to just drill, drill, drill. Okay, so departure would, let's say they cleared us for our final altitude. All right, so let me zoom in so you guys can see what I did. I just changed this from 5 to 7. Now, vertical speed, nose up, and we'll take 1,500. And it's getting dark. Back. Did I swing nav? Didn't mean to swing nav. Not really using that now, but I gotta be careful what I spin that scroll wheel on, unless I change some stuff. All right, so torque is at 50%. RPMs is 1,700. ITT is in the green. NG is in the green. We're looking good. Let's add a little torque because we want to cruise at about 200 knots. So let's try 70%. And we were climbing, so now that we leveling off, we should pick up speed. relatively easy. Okay, so pull back on that torque just a touch. Now, if I wanted 200 exactly, I could, um, how should I say, play with my torque and get her down to 200, but I'll take the extra speed, especially since I was a little bit slow out of the gate. No pun intended. All right, so as you can see, the terrain is scrolling by. I tell you, these turboprops are some gorgeous aircraft. They they're fast and they are interesting to fly. It's almost like flying a jet. And technically, I am using a jet engine. It just has a turbo. A pro. I am using a jet engine. It just has a propeller attached to it. Hence, turboprop, turbine. You know, a turbine is primarily a jet. Is what the jet engines are. Turbine engines. So I should have roughly a half hour of flying. Um, what waypoint am I headed? Headed towards 11 nautical miles before Gantz. And I think this is Gantz right here. Let me scroll in. All right, so yeah, it's Gant. Gantz is right there in magenta, but it's right here over this lake. Um, so I'm within 9 nautical miles of it. And let's see if we can see the lake out there. Okay, yeah, here's the lake. All right. So we starting our turn in a second. We're 238 on the indicated airspeed. That's 271 knots over the ground. And we got a true airspeed of 250 knots. We got a 3 knot crosswind and a 13 knot quartering tailwind. So, so yeah, we that that extra uh, push is saving us on fuel and time. I'm showing about 27 frames per minute, frames per second. Sorry, and that's um, that's doable. It's not the best, but it's doable. It works for smooth flight. Of course, 40 is ideal. Anything above 40 is just gravy. All right, so we're making our turn to Liberty. And Liberty is 32 nautical miles. and I'm getting this information from from various places. So I'm on the GPS, autopilot, and yaw damper zone. Altitude is captured at 7,000 feet. Um, we are in between Gantz and Liberty. Directions towards Liberty, 29 nautical miles. Barron is 056, and our ground speed is 272. Our desired track is 056. We actually are is 057, but we do have some winds that that the autopilot is adjusting for. Well, our track now is 057, so we're right on our track. Uh, ETA to Liberty is just under 6 minutes, and um, yeah, so let's go ahead and get set up for RDU. Um, of course, in real life, uh, we'll be talking with well, for this altitude and these distances, we may not do center approach. May Charlotte approach. Yeah, Charlotte approach wouldn't extend far enough to avoid center. And center for this area of the country would be Washington Center. Um, so we'd probably be speaking with Washington Center right now, and they would hand us off to to Raleigh approach. And Raleigh approach would hand us off to Tower, and we'd set down, and Tower would hand us off the ground, and we go park. In reality, but what we're gonna not do a lot of those steps and just talk directly to Tower. All right, and let's see. So I'm gonna pop up Sky Vector. You guys won't be able to see it. My 4 flight subscription expired, and I have since I've been using the 750. I have really not been using 4 flight that much. Um, because I get so much good information from the 750. So I want, when I come into Raleigh, I think I want to come into 23 left. If they still using the 23s. And so I'm gonna go ahead and dial in my frequencies. And you know what? I never even switched the tower when I took off. Shame on me. 118.1. 27, 21. Tower is ground for Raleigh Durham, and tower is gonna be 127.45. I do have an add-on that's that changes the light and the ground, the terrain, the city lights a little bit. And and then one that kind of extend them a little bit. Uh, I I think it distracts a little bit from the immersion to see them pop in, and I would like to see them extended out to the horizon. And one of my plug-ins is supposed to help with that, but I'm not sure. Either it's not on or it's not doing a lot. Okay, so we're almost at Liberty. 2 nautical miles to go, 2.8 nautical miles to go. And we'll make this turn to Liberty. And then we can start configuring um, to get down. So after I turn Liberty, I want to lower my altitude to, let's say, the approach would have us lower to 4,000. Um, yeah, 4,000. Yeah, 4,000 at over 200 knots with 40 nautical miles to go. Actually, we'll hold at the 7,000 for a few more minutes. And it is getting dark, but it's a beautiful night. And currently, I got lights on in the cabin. Let's see. So let's play around with the lights and see if we can adjust that cabin light. Sure I can. I just don't know where. Well, I say I'm sure that I can. I believe that I can. Let's look in the back here. And this is where I really need to set up the other camera system because I really dislike getting out of the pilot seat. Okay, none of that's clickable. Those are on, and I didn't see any switches on my panel for interior lights. Landing gear. I'm probably looking all over them. Let's see. Let's look on this side. Ah, this is cool. The co-pilot get information that would be useful to the pilot, but I guess I do have that information just in a different form. But I like this. I like this digital form here. Cabin. Well, this is cabin altitude. Uh, yeah. So this is just different. This is cabin pressure information. And my cabin feels like it's at 6,000 feet. But I still didn't find the lights. Oh well. When I don't know something, then I do like finding out, but I don't like finding out while I'm in a session. Okay, so what do we have here? These are my panel lights, and these are my display lights. Yeah, definitely got these lights on. Oh, there we go. Turn them down. Don't need them that bright. Okay, so we at 23 miles from RDU. Let's say the tower, go ahead and ask us to descend to 4,000. And we'll take 1,000 feet per minute. Pull back on our torque because we don't want to break the indicated speed limit. And I need to get ADAS. Messed up the frequency for ADAS. Okay, let's pop that in. And come to.
Raleigh Durham INTL information November 2200 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 25,000 view, temperature 6, dew point -9. Altimeter 3047. Arriving runway 14, departing runway 14. Advise on initial contact you have November.
I didn't write any of that down, but it's November.
Raleigh Durham INTL information November 2200 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10.
Light and variable.
Sky conditions 25,000 view, temperature 6, dew point -9. Altimeter 3047. Arriving runway 14.
All right,
Departing runway
3047.
Advise on initial contact you have November.
And barrel would be this guy right here. All right. So 14 is the little military highway.
Durham INTL information November.
Turn this off.
2200 Zulu weather.
The little military. So let's get vectored a little bit. So let's change the heading. And then let's turn. Yeah, that's a good turn. There. And I'm gonna turn this light up a little bit so I can read what I'm doing here. All right, just a touch. And let's say they bring me down to 2,000 out. Rocket speed goes down to 15. Yeah, so 1,000. That's still a good descent rate. And we want 2-3. So what we're going to do is fly a right downwind for runway 23. This is 5 right. I'm sorry. This is 5 left, 5 right, 2-3 left, and 2-3 right. We want 2-3 left. So want to try not to be too much in the path of other traffic. In fact, I guess we can speed up a tad. And I realize I'm coming in sort of on a 45. Well, not quite perpendicular to the airport is what I mean. Not perfectly perpendicular. All right, 400 to go. And I'm visual. Okay, next, a pattern is 1500. So once we make that turn, we're dialed in 1500. Somebody's taking off. And yeah, tower, traffic in sight, Epic 55 Alpha Kilo. Correction, 35 Alpha Kilo. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is RDU. The time now is approximately 6:30 p.m. and we should be touching down in about 10 minutes. Not even. Okay. So let's swing ahead and bug. Um, if I can read which bug is the heading. Okay, let's swing ahead and bug to 5. And let's get on down. I should have went on down the pattern. So altitude, vertical speed, nose down, and come down at 15. Power back some. Okay, landing lights on, and we'll drop gear in just a minute. We are pretty close to the to the runway, closer than I want to be. So adjust my heading out just a little. Uh, Gear down. I mean, first notch your flaps. And gear down. So we in slow controlled flight. Okay, I think we'll beam our runway. All right, and gonna turn base and then the final. Okay, and I am gonna do that manually. Yaw damper can come off, autopilot can come off. I should have closed up my inertia separator a long time ago, but I just remembered that it's still on because it would be time to turn it off, turn it on if it wasn't. Okay, and let's see what the devil am I looking at? There's my shaker, and I overflew big time, and this is a go around. This is a go around. All right, flaps up, gear up, and I probably would have did much better if I was flying by hand on the approach and not trying to rely on the autopilot. Okay, I can turn the flight director off. I don't need it. Pull it back on that torque. 'Cause all right. Now, let's turn crosswind. Go ahead and turn downwind, which is going to be another triple crosswind turn. All right, there's my airport. Clear to land runway 5, correction, runway 23 left, Epic 35, Alpha Kilo. All right, so I've been cleared to land. Okay, flaps. Leading off the speed. Trim that nose down. Gear down. Then turn to base. All right, let's find my runway and overshooting it again. that turn. Okay, didn't get that shaker. It's probably because of the speeds. Another notch of flaps. And gears down, gear. So where's nose, landing gear? Okay, okay. And flaps of 4. Oh man, look at that. I'm at 1,500 feet. I'm not managing my power. Another go around. I am not doing a good job managing power at all. All right, so I want this light all the way on. Um, okay, lights on so I can hopefully see stuff on this dash a little better. I guess that didn't really help. Okay, let's get ADAS again. Make sure they ain't did a gate change. Um, let's see. Go ahead and turn base. Let's come to
Raleigh Durham INTL information November.
still with November, so good. Okay. And man, look at my altitude. My airspeed. Talk about task saturation. Got a lot of stuff I'm trying to manage, trying to look outside, look at the instruments, um, and doesn't seem to be doing a really good job at any of it. Okay, trying to get down to altitude. Should be lined up with the runway. Okay, I'm at altitude for the most part. All right, trim away some of this back pressure. Okay, midfield. Report midfield. 35 Alpha Kilo is midfield. Clear to land, 35 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so they cleared me to land yet again. This time I'm gonna go out a little bit further, uh, so I'm not in a Cessna. Okay, I'm 177. Let's drop a notch of flaps. Back pressure against that balloon effect. Retrim. All right, so I should have been descending a little bit, and I'm just now starting to descend. And if I can keep it around 700 on that, well, 500 on that descend, and go ahead and make that turn. Okay, that's better. Somehow or another wound up still a little high, but I'm far enough out to live with it. Flaps 4, gear down, power back. Trim off some of this pressure and line up at 112. Doing 800 feet per minute. Descends somewhere. Okay, landing gear is okay. Landing lights are on. Condition is 4. Flaps are 4. Transition. Oh, that center line. Reverse thrust. I said hold the center line. Get back to the center line. All right. And exit the runway. All right. Ground 121.7. Correction, 121.9. Epic 5 kilo alpha. 5 alpha kilo. All right. Raleigh ground, Epic 335 Alpha Kilo is clear the runway, taxi to parking. General aviation, that is. Taxi via Bravo, correction, taxi via Alpha, Juliet, and let's see, taxi via Alpha, Charlie, Juliet, Juliet 1, Epic 5 Alpha Kilo. Trying to remember what the runway designations are. And okay, so I need my landing, my taxi lights, condition level needs to come down. Twenty, 22 knot taxi. It's not bad. All right, can you read this stuff? Okay, we're at Alpha 5. And let's see, I think he said Charlie. So I'm coming up on Delta. So we don't want Delta. And Charlie. Yep, there's Charlie. And first time I got this right. Okay. Charlie to Juliet. And this is Juliet. And Juliet 1. Yep. And this is Juliet 1. I can't use Microsoft Flight Simulator to do this because the runway designations are totally wrong, and I just refuse to. Well, I they're just wrong, and I want to simulate what's in real life. Um, Now these aircraft are parked in the wrong orientation. At RDU, everything is parked this way, perpendicular to the buildings. I'm sorry, parallel to the buildings rather than perpendicular to them. Okay, so FBO is landmark, Marshall. I know you guys can't see them, but I've got a vivid imagination, so I see them. All right, so we are there, and I see the cross signals. So let's go ahead and set our brakes. Brakes are set. I should have brakes on the cast. Uh, Parking brakes. Let's see. Why am I not seeing? Uh, there we go. On that now, see it. I see it now. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. Okay. Taxi lights can come off, and nav lights can come off. Oh man, I did not turn the strobes off when I got off the runway. My bad. Nav lights come off. Um, Inertial separator and pitot heat can come off, and I'm kind of going to shut down in the opposite direction that I started so I can release the door seal. But first, I am going to pull this condition level down to cut my fuel off. All right, my fuel is cut off, so my prop is just free spinning. All right, trims off, autopilot off, pushers off, fuel auto select off. Um, Alt standby is this guy, and it will go off eventually. Um, Starter generator can go off, fuel pumps off, and avionics master off, battery 2 off, and let's open the door. This is not a Cessna, so I don't think I'm going to open the door there. Um, all right, door is opening and master battery off. And this guy is powering down as I thought it would. Okay, it's on a whole different system than all the others. So if if I were to lose the main stuff, then I still got this for the backup, and it's powering down. And we are at RDU, guys. I hope you enjoyed this flight. It For me, I don't know. For me, it was a blast of fun flying this little short flight from Charlotte to RDU. Truth is, even though I spent what feels like hours to you guys, it only felt like a few minutes to me. And in real life, uh, every flight can take uh, an hour to 3 hours longer in the planning and pre-flight phases than in the air. So from that perspective, the flight is a little bit more true to life. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it again, and